Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Xmageplayers podcast. I'm your host, Xander, and today I'm joined by our ruler and overlord of the Xmageplayers group, Matthew Tones. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me again.
Now,
for
for the first point, Happy New Year to all Xmageplayers group members, to anyone that's part of my channel, or just any Magic players out there that are listening. Happy New Year. It was a big year in Magic. We saw a couple of changes to a couple of different formats. There was some awesome announcements with the $10 million getting put towards the esports for Magic. That was pretty awesome. Magic the Gathering Arena, the whole reason the esports is happening. That was awesome. But just going on into the new year, we have a couple of things to be excited about, and one of them is the release of the Ravaging Allegiances. That's looking like an awesome set. I can't wait to see a whole lot more of the spoilers, but it's going to be great. So touching on the new topics, going into the future, what we want to do with these podcasts is we want to actually have topics about what we're going to do going forward. So just looking at the podcast specifically, we're looking at I've already done an interview with Desolator Magic. In the very near future, I'll be doing an interview with it's Jake the Viper, the CEO and founder of Epic Stream. He's also a moderator for the group that I'm sure most of us are a part of, Magic the Gathering Rocks My World on Facebook. It's got like over 40,000 members. So that's going to be huge. I want to try and put the feelers out, getting a whole lot more interviews out, and that's just something that's going to be cool going forward. Going into more content for the group, I'm doing a Deck Doctor series that if you want to have a deck fixed, or not fixed, but if you're struggling with the deck and you want help doing it, or can't figure out the direction that you want the deck to go in, yeah, post it to me either on my channel or to me directly if you know me, and I can help you with the list. And it just goes in the queue for decks that I'll later do deck techs, and I just basically change the list, do a deck tech for it, and then post it back up, tagging the person who sent it in. And yeah, that's another cool thing to look forward to.
And so this is basically after the kind of long-winded introduction. This is a new year. So what's new podcast? And those things you touched on, we're certainly going to go into a little bit more depth with in this episode.
Yeah. So what have you got that's new coming in the Xmage group?
Well, I've been a bit quiet since the end of the Season 7 League finished. That was kind of a prolonged ending to it, unfortunately. It dragged on and on and on, and I just took a break away, to be honest, played a ton of Arena. But our new season is about to start, Season 8. We did the consultation at the end of Season 7 to see what players wanted, and one of the main things that they wanted was to have league seasons correspond to release sets. So that's the reason for the huge gap between Season 7 and Season 8. We had to wait until Ravnica Allegiance was going to come out, which is January 25. So that's going to be the start of our new league season. So I guess that's our first big announcement for the year coming up, 2019. It's going to be Season 8. I was just looking at the list just now. I've got 34 players that were seeded. Of course, anybody can play, but we've got 34 seeded players from the last season
that's huge.
Are going to compete again.
Yeah.
I don't expect the numbers to be that high this time. I think with Arena and so on, and the fact that Xmage has sort of been very quiet for the last couple of months, I think our numbers will be right down. At this stage, after 8 seasons, I don't think that's such a bad thing. I think we're probably going to see a smaller but more committed group. I'm picking 16 to 20 players, so 2 divisions.
Oh, really? Because there was about 45 or something in the last season, but I think, how many did we have drop out? It was like 10 or so? Just didn't end up playing?
I think that was Season 7, so I think around 5 and 6 were pretty bad seasons in terms of new player dropouts. It wasn't so bad last season. Last season, ironically, the highest number of dropouts was from established players who had various reasons that they had to drop out, and so I'm not sure if they're going to come back. But there's other players like Oliver King, who's a regular. His wife just gave birth today or yesterday. Congratulations to Oliver and his wife.
Congrats.
Yeah, we'll have to see how much time he has to play, if he thinks he's got the time to play this time. Another one is Michael Yu, who's Oliver's friend in real life. His wife also gave birth. I don't know what's going on there.
Something in the water.
Yeah. But he sat out the last season. He's been a regular. He might find it difficult with 2 kids as well.
Yep. In direct correlation with the start of the next season, I'm pretty sure Wintercox also promised to be starting another standard league, which will be another good thing to look forward to.
Well, he's actually got the 2... I don't know how to say this. 1v1 or 2-player commander.
Dual commander. That's another.
Dual commander. Yeah, that starts today or tomorrow, depending on what time zone you're in.
That's only a super mini league, though. It's only like 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah. I mean, you've only got to play one game, don't you? So there's not really an excuse to take a whole week to play one game against somebody.
Just retouching on the podcast episodes coming up. I'll be joined or rejoined because he's been on the podcast previously. Dual Xmage from he's on YouTube as well. He does dual commander content, like specifically just dual commander content, and we were trying to do it in correlation with the dual commander league that was meant to be starting, but because of scheduling issues, it's going to come. It's coming in the near future, and that'll be good to touch on because I'm pretty sure we're going to end up doing another dual commander league in the future anyway. It's just something else to look forward to. But that's going to be cool. So
the dual commander league, are you playing in it?
Yeah, I'm playing in it. I've actually been part of the there's a dual commander channel that I'm actually part of.
Oh, so is it like best out of 3? Do you have a sideboard, or is it just a one game like Commander EDH 4 player?
Pretty sure it's just the one game. I haven't actually played in any of the leagues that they've done before, but Tyler does a really good job of organising this stuff. They do it through a channel that I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called. But I'll definitely be putting it in the image work down the bottom here. But it's basically you just punch in all the information, like you know how we do our ladders through Excel and whatever else, and you just make them up. They've actually got it's like a website that they go to punch in it all in, and it actually has the proper ladder system all set up. It's really cool.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because I actually interviewed it's Tyler Kimball from our group is his name. I interviewed Tyler last time, and we spoke more about the design of his website, because for those that haven't seen, his videos are really nice in terms of editing quality and so on. And I think I linked last time, but I'm sure you'll do it again when you have him on. So yes, it's no surprise that his ladder is far superior to ours.
It's I think it's challenge.com or something like that. But yeah, it's a sick website.
Is it his actual ladder, or is it like anybody that runs a league can go there and create their?
Yeah, it's a league generating website.
Ooh,
you just punch in your information. Yeah, we could do it for ours if you wanted to check it out. I'll just get Tyler to send you the link.
I think I'm putting that on my to-do list right now. Challenge.com, did you say?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, we can find the details from Tyler. Yeah, so yeah, as you say, it's going to run for 3 weeks from Whim. Do you have any idea of the numbers he's got for the league?
I think there's only 4 in the American one, and there's 6 or I think it's just 6 in the European one. Again, it's just the first time they're running the dual commander. Dual commander is fairly niche. If we ever get enough of the dual commander players actually into our group, then we could kind of have more of an amalgamation of players. I think Tyler's league's got like 16 or so. The one that he's running in, he's on through his channel and that. So, but
yeah, and so I think, because I was tempted to join, but I think that I couldn't really make the commitment to play that as well as starting the league. Would have been a difficult balance, but
it's 3 games. Just do it.
Give it a go. Yeah. Yeah, we'll wait and see. The other thing I wanted to mention with the just to touch back on the new league season that's starting as well is we did the consultation like we always do at the end. Everything is staying the same. Nothing is changing. There was some suggestions for changes. The only thing that is changing is we're splitting the Europe and US. There will not be any combined finals this time around.
Oh, really? That's a...
Yes, each one's going to run their own one. It ended up making, because of the time zone difference, it made the finals drag on to, I think it was about 6 or 7 weeks by the end of it.
Oh, wow.
And it should have been 2 or 3 weeks maximum. 3 weeks, absolute max. So,
I might actually end up in the finals this season then.
yeah, I have to actually speak to Wim, and I'm going to put it out there. I think the European League will need a dedicated moderator, as it always does as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get the Australian players to join, but they're reluctant. It's going to happen.
Yeah, the time zone thing is the difference. You touched on your podcast with Tyler, Xmage. Can you just go into a little bit more of what you're actually up to? Because you've been pretty busy. I don't know if people realised recently with the podcast.
So as I kind of flew past in the intro, I just recently did, so if you've been up to date with the podcasts or if you haven't seen it yet, I did one with an interview, a sit-down interview with Desolator Magic in the last episode, and it was actually a delight to interview. He's someone that I've become a whole lot more friendly with over Discord and through his own Discord channel, and it's an awesome interview, just touching on him as a content creator, him as a Magic player, and just his channel stuff in general. But yeah, check that out because it's definitely worth watching. Going into a couple of the next ones, Jake Viper, the CEO of Epic Stream, just randomly reached out to him via Facebook because I figured out that he was on the Magic the Gathering Rocks My World as a moderator, and then he posted it up on the thing, and I was like, wait a minute, I know Epic Stream. Sent a thing to him saying, just randomly, do you want to be on our podcast? I help host a podcast. And he's like, yeah, sure. So one of the things that Desolator pointed out to me a while back was it doesn't matter how big they are or small they are, if you ask, the worst thing that can happen is they say no. But if you don't ask, then you're never going to find out.
Yeah, I think there's one of those cliche sayings in there somewhere about that.
Yeah, unless you ask the question, you're never going to find it out. So I've just been reaching out to different content creators, trying to focus on Magic, obviously. But yeah, just reaching out to different content creators, try to get more interviews going through the podcast, because it's not so much filler, but it's something that isn't the same thing every week. Like, we don't want to be just talking about leagues in our group every week. Touching on the topic stuff that we want to be doing. I touched on it in the last episode that you and me did. We want to be trying to get people to come on board and get the more topic stuff down in terms of how-tos, all this other stuff. And if we can get other people in and they can help us out with it, it's something that I feel will be received well with the people watching the podcast.
Yeah, and I think especially the Desolator Magic, I haven't actually checked like the views or whatever. But
it's sitting at 800, I think.
Oh wow, yeah, it's pretty good. But it did seem to generate a lot of discussion, which was pretty good as well.
Whether you like him or you hate him, you know him.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I didn't have an opinion either way about him. I knew what the stories about him were, and people didn't like them. But I also know that in general, Magic players are a very salty bunch, so I never take their word for anything. But I found him very forthright and honest, and I think that was pretty good. I think if he came into the interview and just rattled out a heap of cliches, it would have been a bit disappointing. But as it was, I really enjoyed the interview. Yeah,
I got a heap of positive feedback from it, and like people absolutely smashed the comments. So if I can, which I'm pretty sure he will, I'll happily have him back talking about other kind of stuff in the future, like MTG finance and stuff. It's something that he likes screwing around with. But yeah, it's definitely something trying to go into later on.
Yeah, and so this is the general approach. You're kind of focused on content creators, people that are making things on YouTube, and just basically firing them a "Hey, you're interested" type message. Yeah.
Any kind of collab is good. Doesn't matter who it is or what they're doing, as long as it's Magic. As long as it's Magic content, is basically the gist of it.
Have you tried any, like, or do you intend to try any pro players or actual Magic players, or any
I'm not.
Cedric Phillips or Jerry Thompson?
I haven't reached out to any yet. I'm probably going to now that you just said it. I haven't actually thought about doing that. I was just like aiming low. I kind of like going for a bit of a reach, going for Jake Viper and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely looking to do it in the future.
Yeah, because the thing that you kind of made me think of is I like to get my Magic cards signed by artists, and sometimes I just sit down and just randomly go through Facebook with a copy and paste message, firing off to 20 or 30 artists at a time. Hey, can I send some stuff for signatures?
Hey, if you did the same thing but just said, hey, can I have an interview on a podcast? If you send it to 30 people and 2 people say, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and as you say, the worst they're going to say is no.
Some artists on like interviews with artists would be a really cool one to do. Just let us know in the comments if you want to see that kind of stuff. That'll be cool.
Yeah, there's actually a new podcast just started up yesterday, I think it was, with that. So that's in my to listen to list, probably on a couple of days from now. Okay, so the other thing, can you tell us? I mean, I feel I'm kind of taking over here.
No, you're right.
But, your deck doctor, we saw part 1 appear in the group. So what's the inspiration behind this, and what's it all about?
It's not so much inspiration, it's just an idea that I've had. I've been kicking it around for a while, and I just haven't committed to actually doing it yet. It's just me jumping 2 feet into it, really. So how the deck doctor thing works is, I don't even know if it's something people have done. I've had people talk about the whole idea of doing deck doctor. I can't remember if Saffron Olive did something similar, but anyway, it's on my channel as Deck Doctor. It's going to be a whole new thread that is just people send their lists in. I look at the list, so they send the list in, and what people keep forgetting to do is telling me what's wrong with the deck, like what they want the deck to do or what is wrong with the deck, because I'm just getting a list, and then they're going, here, fix this. I'm like, cool, what do you want it to do? Yeah, so send a list in to me. Tell me either what you want the deck to do or what it's not doing, and then I can try to fix it. If you just send a list in to me and just say fix it, then I can just go, okay, I'll just try to make it better, but that's all I can do. But if you want it to go in a certain direction, you need to let me know when you send it in. Is the thing that I'm trying to get across here. But yeah, so they send it in, and then I look at the list. I do the whole brewing side of stuff and just try to get it to go in the direction that they want it to, or improve it to whatever degree I can do it. But I'm also not trying to, like, if they send a list in and it's a mono blue list. I said this in my Deck Doctor episode. I don't want to just have people send a mono blue list in and then me go, okay, Deck Doctor, don't be an idiot, play tempo. That's all you have to do. I don't want to do that. If I want people to send their list in, and then the stuff that I'm going to post back is going to be a reflection of the stuff that they sent in already. I don't just want to change every card that was in the list and say, no, do this. I want to try and stick on topic and just improve what they've given me. And then it's been received really well.
Yeah, swap those 22 islands for 22 mountains.
It's like, see, you're playing mono blue, you need to be playing Grixis.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, when I first saw it appear in the list, the first thing I thought of actually was your conversation with Desolator Magic, where he said that, you know, he doesn't like to change things up too much in lists, and they're his lists, and they might be from somebody else, but you put a tweak on them and so on. So was there any inspiration there? No,
it's literally been like 6 months of an idea that I've had, because people quite often, because of my channel and doing day text and stuff, people will reach out to me quite often saying, this is a list that I'm having trouble with, can you help me out with it? And I've already been doing the Deck Doctor stuff for like 6 months, because people have already started reaching out to me. They know I do deck text, they know I'm into brewing and whatever else. So doing collab stuff with people is something that I've really enjoyed doing. So I figured if I'm already doing it, I may as well post it up on my channel and make content out of it, because it's something that obviously people are interested in. The first video that I touched on it with Desolator in the interview that we did, like going towards the Deck Doctor stuff. And then the first video that I've done for Deck Doctor, he was actually the first person to comment a list. And he's like, I think it was captioned "Fix this train wreck," and just posted up a blue list, and I was like, "Oh man!" But
yeah, it'll be interesting. I have to give it a look.
No, it's obviously it's not a tier 1 deck. The deck's just a whole lot of fun. That's what I'm going for more than anything. The original list that he sent me, I'm pretty sure it was when he first started in MTG Arena, and that was like the draft chaff and whatever else he could just fill out with he was limited by wild cards basically when he did it.
Yep.
But ended up taking the list in 2 different directions, which is something I think I'll try to do pretty well in the future if that's something that it looks like can be done. But yeah, I took it in a couple of different directions and just did a small deck text on all of them. In the normal deck text, a lot more descriptive in terms of I'll read the cards out, what they do, stats, and everything else. In the deck text or the deck doctor, I'll try to be a whole lot quicker, just because I'm trying to do 3 lists in the time I normally do the 1. So just to cut down time, I'm going to simplify it a bit, but it should still work out okay.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. Something else to watch out for each week, or? I'm
going to try and do them every week. I've actually got 3 recorded. I just need to edit a couple more and then post them up. I don't want to post more than 1 a week. I want to try and make it so that something for my channel specifically is I want to start doing a deck tech video, a deck doctor video, and a gameplay video every week, because that's 3 videos a week, which is triple the content that I've been doing. So it's a lot of work for me, but it's something that I'm committed to doing. I want to have my channel grow and improve the quality of it. So I think that's something going forward that's going to be good.
Yeah, and I guess the other factor that you have to consider here is with Ravnica Allegiance on the horizon, some of these lists might become outdated pretty quickly.
Brings us straight into our next topic. with Ravnica Allegiance, yeah, that's good. With Ravnica Allegiance coming out, we've got a couple of really sweet cards that are just spoiled. Spoiler season hasn't really started, but we have seen quite a few cards already. There's 3 cards here that we want to touch on, and then the last one's basically an idea that's going to be for a deck tech that I'll do later on. Not in this video, but in the future, very soon. Just touching on one of the Azorius cards that was released, or that was leaked, and that's Absorb, which is for 3. It's a white and 2 blue. At instant speed, you counter target spell, and you gain 3 life. What do you think of this card, Matt?
Yeah, I think obviously it's competing with Sinister Sabotage, which is double blue and one of any color, which enables you to whatever that mechanic is, we get to look at a card and put it in the surveil, yep. And Ionize, which obviously is committing you to red. So the big question here is going to be with Hallowed Fountain coming in. Hallowed Fountain and Godless Shrine are going to make Esper very viable. So in terms of control decks, it's whether you're going to play Jeskai or Esper.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be playing just straight up, particularly if every shockland available, you're not going to play straight up blue-white. So if you're in Jeskai, you're probably considering it against Ionize, because double blue in 3 colors is a bit more difficult. Likewise, if you're in Esper, you're probably comparing it up against Sinister Sabotage as well. So I think Esper is probably the home for it, primarily, but I suspect it's going to be the preferred counterspell. And I say that because if you look at the metagame of virtually every single standard release ever, in terms of the Pro Tour and so on, it's always a who can build the fastest aggro deck in week 1 or 2.
And this is just straight up
to the Pro Tour.
Straight up help against that. It's like, I'm not only going to counter your Rekindling Phoenix, I'm going to gain that 3 life back that you've already dealt me. So I'm back to square one.
And I know for me, like at my LGS, there's a lot of this kind of red-black aggro running around, and it's just super hard to beat, because even if you can kind of beat off the initial attack, first wave, it's just, every card they draw is just draining your life.
More damage, yeah.
Yeah, so the ability to pick up 3 life, I think, is going to be huge.
It's something that popped up. I can't remember the card for the life of me. It's going to be down in the bottom here. It's for 2, a 1 and a white, you gain 3 life and draw a card. That wasn't around at all. And then all of these aggro decks started popping up.
Command.
Yeah. And then one of these, or all these aggro decks started popping up more prominently, and it just started going into the Jeskai deck, and I was like, what the hell? Where's this card come from? I'd never even seen it, and then it just come in everything.
It's not standard. Are you talking about Ojutai's command?
No, not Ojutai's. Sorry, not Ojutai's. It's going to be in the bottom. It's I can't remember what it's called for the life of me. It's just it's for 1 and a white, draw a card and gain 3 life. It's an instant speed.
Oh no, yeah. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, it's part of this kind of Jeskai control. I think they play about 8 of those. There's another 3 mana one that does it as well. Basically, it's just a cycler that buys you time.
Yeah,
draws a card.
It just keeps dragging the game out. But
drawing into inevitability.
Yeah, it's great.
It's super hard to beat the Jeskai deck.
The Sinister Sabotage, the Surveil one. A lot of people have just argued that it's straight up better than Absorb. But I definitely think Absorb's going to have a spot to go into. And you're saying it's on Esper's going to be the spot for it. But with the new set also comes the guilds with those sets. So I think that just a straight blue-white control is just going to be a hugely prominent thing going into the future. Because they're just going to get so many more toys with the new set, I feel.
Yeah, I think the only thing with that, though, is that because of the mana base, this is one of the first times in Standard. This is probably the second best the mana base has ever been for Standard. The best being right at the end of Battle for Zendikar before that block rotated, because we had those dual Zendikar lands. What I can't remember what they're called. Like Cinderglade and Prairie Stream and Sunken Hollow. Those ones, and we had fetches, so they could be fetched. So that was the absolute best. I think right now is the second best when you've got shocks. So you've got access to virtually every color with the option of them coming in untapped. Yeah,
it's making really stupid 5-color decks viable.
Yeah, and I think what you'll see, for me personally, I'll be spoiler for week 1 of the league. I'll be playing aggro. I'm going to find an aggro list, because what I think what you're going to see is people not balancing their shock lands correctly, and probably jamming 8 of whatever they can get, which is either going to force them to play lands tapped, or it's going to do a lot of incremental damage to their life total. And I say that because I think Mike Sigrist wrote an article today about it with regards to Modern, where people play too many shock lands. And it's a very real problem there as well. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, because if you're playing aggro and they're playing enough lands that it's going to be dealing them 8 damage, you're winning on turn 4.
Yeah, so cool. My Viashino Pyromancer, he can do 2 damage, and your land can do 2 damage. Yeah. And bam, turn 2, you lost 4 life already.
Just touching on the next Azorius card we have here, it's Emergency Powers, which is for 7, so it's 5, a white and a blue. At instant speed, each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. Exile Emergency Powers. Addendum, which is the new mechanic for Azorius. That's if you cast this spell during your main phase, you may put a permanent card with converted mana cost 7 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. That's insane.
Yeah, I think it might be played as a one-of. I'm usually wrong when it comes to picking these sorts of things. I don't see it ever being played for its addendum cost, because I don't think a blue-white player wants to be tapping out for 7 mana. The only thing that I can think of here is that, because the other thing that you have to consider is you're giving your opponent 7 cards as well. So essentially what you're doing for addendum is tapping out, giving them 7 cards, playing your permanent, which is probably just going to die because they
just drew. Yeah,
going to be able to take care of it. And so if you're in that position as a control player, you're probably already won anyway. Otherwise, you're probably dead. So I think it's going to be as a draw. End of their turn, just cast it to beef up your hand, but at the same time beef their hand up as well.
Well, you play fairly aggressively into turn 7, and then on their end step, you're refilling your hand and then just drawing back all the answers. It's just insane amount of tempo swing in your direction, because everything else you can just start countering it. It's going to be great.
See, this is the problem though, is how are you going to be dumping your hand, like getting rid of cards, because you're not going to be down to 1 or 2 cards what have you been casting? Control doesn't want to be playing spells.
But you're not losing out on anything. So the cards you're leaving in your hand is chaff or otherwise. But like, if your hand ever gets low to the point, then you can just flick the switch and play this. It's going to be awesome. I reckon it's great.
I look at it from this perspective. I see that card as pre-ordering at $12.
And then selling for $2.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd be amazed if I pay more than $2 for that card.
Yeah,
I'll give it a shot. I'm not going to write it off, but I'm not too excited at this stage.
The addendum you can basically write off, but the ability to just shuffle your hand and draw 7 cards is insanely cool.
yeah, I agree.
Just touching on, it's our quirky card for this week. It's also, I reckon, the card to watch, and Civic is just going to be so damn good in the next set. Civic Ascendancy is for green and a blue. It's an enchantment that sits on the battlefield, and for 3, so 1 green and a blue, you can put a +1 counter on target creature you control. It's also got whenever 1 or more +1 counters are put on a creature you control, put that many growth counters on Civic Ascendancy. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if Civic Ascendancy has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game.
Yeah, immediately I thought of Modern, actually. Hardened Scales and...
it's straight in there. Straight in.
Winding Constrictor.
Yeah.
Surely there's Saffron Olive's going to make some sort of a...
hell, I'm going to do it. Fuck Saffron, I'll do it.
Yeah, and I suspect it's probably got EDH written all over it as well. I think it's going to be a bit of a flash in the pan in Standard. The other thing to remember is with Standard is that Mortifiers get in a reprint. And I think that's going to be a staple.
But Blue still has counter spells.
Yeah, that's true.
Just play it when you got protection.
Oh, yeah, so I guess blue-green is going to be some sort of a tempo type. Yeah, because I mean the Merfolk are all explore creatures, so they're putting counters on them anyway.
Yeah, so I've already done. Just spoiler alert for one of my next videos coming up. It's I've already done a deck tech including Civic Ascendancy and other cards from the new set that have been spoiled. So without seeing the rest of the set, I've already done a deck tech for it, because everyone seems to be overlooking the fact that we had all of those +1 synergies in the Merfolk tribal stuff that was in Ixalan. So all of the explore stuff, all of the Kamina tapping and putting +1 counters on everything. Like if you've got this out on turn 2, turn 3 play a Jade Light, it puts a counter on it, and then it puts another counter on it. That's 2 on Civic Ascendancy. And then going into all of the pseudo Anthem guys, that whenever you play a Merfolk, put a +1 counter on something else. Or the 1-cost guy, play a Merfolk, put a counter on something else. Kamina, tap 5 Merfolk, counters on everything. I really don't see this as being that hard. It's going to be a mid-game win, I feel.
Yeah, you could also build a kind of Simic Storm deck with that. There's a 1-drop. I think it's 1-drop or 2-drop. Every time you play an instant or sorcery, put a counter on.
Yep.
I guess there's possibilities there as well.
With the
that's every time you play a non-creature spell.
Go the red Steamkin. Whenever you play a red spell.
I think it's called Deep Root Elite.
Yeah, whenever you play a non-creature, yeah.
Yeah, put a counter. So you could kind of just resolve a couple of those. Maybe have some, is it quasi-duplicate to copy it?
Yeah.
And
everyone's talking about Pelt Collector as well. That's another card that synergizes really well with it. There's just so much in Standard without the next set yet that is going to +1 synergize, and it's going to be awesome. Yeah. I can't wait to see people winning with this card.
Well, I'll make sure I check out that deck when it comes out.
That's pretty much all we've got time for this week. That is another episode of the Xmageplayers Group podcast. Thank you for watching / listening, and thank you, Matt, for joining me.
Great, thanks for having me. I look forward to your next one.
See you guys.